Welcome to Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Esther, chapter 9, starting at verse 1, going through chapter 10, verse 3. Now the king's state-endorsed policy of the annihilation of the Jews, which was issued by this vicious Haman, is still in force. It cannot be revoked. It can be superseded, but it cannot be revoked. And so the enemies had hoped to overturn the Jews, to expel them, to annihilate them. And now the Jews have been able to defend themselves. And even if the edict is not in place, the hatred against God and against God's people is still there. That malice is still there. And so the Jews assembled and they were armed to attack those who would destroy them. Now, because of Mordecai, who has now political power, basically the vice president, he's second in command. Because of his new political power, everyone wants to support the Jews. And his reputation and Mordecai's political power grows because a leader, he's not a leader who takes from the people like Haman. Good leaders serve people, and God has moved Mordecai into this position. And so we go on to verse 5. The Jews killed those who wanted to destroy them. And so now you have, as it would say in Revelation chapter 1, chapter 11, verse 8, you have the destroying of the destroyers. And, where Haman and the other hate-filled people were going to destroy not just Mordecai, but every Jew, men, women, and children. Here, Mordecai and the Jews are attacking and preventing the men who would carry out this violence. And what really is happening is an intolerance of evil. And so they after they have killed Haman, now they kill his 10 sons, all who have been taught to hate God's people. And yes, there's a number of people, a number of men who die, but they didn't touch their property. So this was not about getting rich at their expense, and it wasn't attacking the men or women. And so I think, again, we struggle with this. But just like in World War II, we attacked those who attacked us, and we diminished their war fighting capacity, so they could no longer to conduct their evil against other nations, not just us, but other nations as well. And so that was the victory that we had in World War II, and that's the victory that Mordecai and Esther and the other Jews have in this story. And so there's a day of feasting, of joy, of God's victory over these vicious enemies. It is the victory of God. And so we know that, as it says in the scripture here, that this begins the celebration of Purim, which comes from the word lots. And that's because Haman sort of cast lots to figure out when he was going to do this. But this has not been left up to chance. This is not left up to chance because God is working to watch over his people and to give them relief from their enemies so that their sorrow and mourning is turned into joy and celebration. And so instead, the evil scheme, the plot that was meant to destroy the Jews has come back onto their own head. And it recognizes that this is justice for all the Jews. And so, too, we see about how in what was meant for the destruction of Jesus in the cross and the death, that has become the celebration of his victory over sin, death, and the devil. Well, thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.